What is going on, all of you kart racers, professional and casual out there in the world? I'm MegaAmpster. Thank you for checking out this YouTube video. If you're new here, hey, welcome to the channel. Good to see new faces here. Returning viewers, always great to see you here. Thank you for all the support. As always, really means a lot to me. We got to revisit that age-old debate, right? Mario versus Sonic, been going on for over 3 decades now. 3? 4? 3. I'm trying to do my math of how much time has passed in my head, right? 3 decades now. Now, granted, early on in the 90s, those were, of course, with the 2D platforming games. We're not here to talk about those, right? That's obvious. That's Sonic. You can debate that in the comments below. I'm just joking, by the way. We are here to talk about the racing games specifically. Now, for the Sonic ones, I could have chosen maybe like Riders, maybe Sonic R, but then it really wouldn't have stood a competition. But no, we're going to talk about the kart racers specifically, especially because these 2 games that we're talking about today, Mario Kart 8 and Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, released pretty much around the same time. I believe Transformed was 2012. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And I know for a fact that the base Mario Kart 8 on Wii U was released in 2014. Now, both games were both in that generation of Wii U. Granted, I am dealing with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe currently on the Switch, so keep that in mind. Also, a little caveat, I have all the Booster Course Pass content as of now, so it might make it a little unfair to compare in a way, but I'm going to try to keep it fair and balanced, and mostly refer to things that were in the base game. So, with that, of course, we're here starting with Mario Kart 8. Let's just dive into each game a little bit and kind of explore some of the features. So, right off the bat, first thing I gotta say, presentation in this game is immaculate. It's so good, and I think it's miles better than the presentation of Transform. What do I mean by presentation? Of course, the music, but I also think the music in Transform is really good. I still have to get the edge to this a little bit, but also the visual style, the UI, I just think is overall significantly more appealing in this game. I mean, it's that Nintendo charm, right? They kind of always have that vibe. So, presentation-wise, I mean, this game blows Transformed out of the water. You got a bunch of extra content down here. I think music was actually added recently with the Booster Course Pass. Amiibo support, play stats. Of course, Transform doesn't have Amiibo support, as far as I'm aware. I mean, it was on Wii U, but no, Amiibo weren't a thing then. Play stats, I believe it also has. One thing I'm also going to give this game, I won't go into it too much, but the online play in this game, and this is the funny part, because Nintendo is infamously not great with their online. However, even with the base Wii U game, the online here, it's just so much more, like, a lot of it has to do with the UI, right? The fact that you can create a lobby and, like, have all these different, you have your players join in and select a race. I believe it's similar to Transform, but it's fun to have your little Miis jump around and be like, oh, look, I'm going to choose this level. You can do stupid little messages. It's little things like that Nintendo charm that make it a better experience. In terms of performance, I'd say they're both the same, especially when considering the base Wii U version. This one's a little better, but I think honestly, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has the slightly better online experience, especially because you have different options here. But to be fair, I haven't done too much online in All-Stars Racing Transform, so it's hard to compare, but based on my experiences, online play in this game, I think is slightly better than All-Stars Racing Transformed. So we're going to do a couple just races here. Maybe I should do a race and a battle. Maybe I should do that. Or a couple races in a battle. I'll see how, I don't want this video going on forever. But of course, you got your standard Grand Prix, time trials versus races, and then there's battle there. In terms of the character roster, we've got a good amount of characters here. Now, like I said, a lot of these were added with the Booster Course Pass DLC. Some of these were added with this game specifically, the release of this game, and then some were added as DLC in Mario Kart 8 on Wii U, that base game originally. The original roster was a lot smaller than what you're seeing here. Obviously, like Birdo, Petey Piranha, Wiggler, Kamek, Peachette, Pauline, Funky Kong, and Diddy Kong were all added with the Booster Course Pass. Inkling, Bowser Jr., and King Boo, I believe, are the 3 that were added with the release of Deluxe on Switch. And then characters like Tanuki Mario, Cat Peach, Dry Bowser, Link, Isabelle, and Villager. I think those are the only 6. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Were added as DLC later to the base Mario Kart 8. So before that, I mean, the roster was pretty limited. I mean, you had kind of this like square here of characters roughly, which is still a good amount of characters. Mario Kart's never had a crazy amount of characters. This is still the biggest roster, especially when you consider the Mii costumes, right? That's one thing that this game also has over Racing Transformed. It's the different custom avatar costumes. You can unlock different ones with Amiibo, but just for more of a fair comparison, we're going to go with just a character who was in the base one. I love Donkey Kong. We're going to go with Donkey. one thing, and like mainly when I go through each game, I'm going to talk about mainly their pros more than their cons, and we will revisit those cons later with the other game, right? One thing this game also really nails, I think, is the kart customization, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, where did they add this feature? Was it in 7 where it first started? I think it's really cool. Maybe it was in Wii. Obviously, you know, similar stats between both games, but like a lot of racing games have these standard speed, acceleration, handling, traction, all that. But just the unlocking of car pieces, it gives more incentive to do stuff like, oh, you know, finish all the Grand Prix, get all the trophies and everything, because you can slowly get more and more coins and unlock more car parts that way, more customization, which is great. Obviously, there are different options for speed of races and stuff like that, and level of difficulty with the TPUs. Items, of course, custom items were added later, so I don't want to factor that in too much, but the item variety we will see as we go. Let's do... Oh, we got to do Mount Warrior. That's like, for me, one of the staple base game tracks is Mount Warrior. Phenomenal track. And we will jump into it here. This is also a cool one because it's not the repeated 3 laps. It's one giant lap, so that's really cool. But like I said, just like looking at this game, visually, it's still one of the best looking Switch games in my opinion. It really, just the presentation-wise, you know, it just looks utterly amazing, runs at that smooth 60 frames. And one thing right off the bat, I mean, the items are... At this point, they're kind of standard, but that's also because Mario Kart was like one of the first, if not the first, big kart racing game. It kind of set the standard for kart racing items, of course. So, like, you got your classics and such. I don't know if you can hold your item behind you in other racing games. I'm not sure about that. Let me know if you know of any racing games that allow you to do that mechanic as well. I'm sure there are some. But, like, what I gotta say right off the bat is the handling in this game is also really good. And that is something that has taken the Mario Kart series... That was terrible. That's my bad. It's taken the Mario Kart series a long time to perfect that. Like, some of the older Mario Karts, I absolutely despise the handling. For me, it really started with Mario Kart DS. Like, Double Dash, I've only played a little bit of, but even that, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of how it was done there. You know what I mean? So it's really, I don't know. Starting like Double Dash, just the drifting in particular for me, I just could not do very well. I'm sure if you're used to that game, you could be used to it. It's a similar reason to why I couldn't get into Crash Team Racing, was the drifting was so weird and almost necessary for that game. But it's like, it's so smooth in this kind of game. And you know, of course, the longer you hold your drift, the bigger drift you can kind of uphold it. So the main things this game really has going for it, presentation and handling, just feels so clean in this game. It really adds a lot to the experience. And you know, like, especially handling is a big thing with, you know, Mario, just any racing game. You know, you need it to feel good to play. You need to be able to feel like you're in control, right? And I think this game nails that. Like I said, it took them a while, but really DS set the framework in my opinion, and then from there it just got better and better until 7 really nailed it. And I mean, 8 just kind of built upon what 7 had started off there, but just really smooth gameplay. And for, like I said, for a racing game, that is absolutely like the most important. It's one of the most important things you need to achieve in a kart racer like this. So there we go. What time are we at? Oh, 38 minutes. Damn. All right. I'll do one more race. There is also the battle mode. We won't get into the battle modes, I guess. I guess it's only fair because I actually haven't... I'm pretty sure there is a battle mode in... Oh, we gotta do a retro course. We gotta do N64 Rainbow Road. That just feels right. I'm gonna do one more. I'm not gonna. It's not. I don't think it'd be fair to compare battle modes. I'm pretty sure All Stars Racing Transformed has one. We'll see, and let me know in the comments if there is. But I obviously have played this battle mode a lot, but not in Transformed. Also, the Wii U version did not have a really fleshed out battle mode, right? If you remember, the quote-unquote battle mode in the Wii U version, like, yeah, you had the balloons, but you were just going on regular racetracks. It was not your typical battle arenas like Mario Kart's had since pretty much the beginning. It's not at all like that. So it also wouldn't be fair to compare considering Deluxe had the time to look back and improve upon it. When, you know, Racing Transformed doesn't have that opportunity. Granted, there was the original Sonic SEGA All-Stars Racing and then Transform, but I feel like that's more like a Mario Kart 7 to a Mario Kart 8 situation, you know? Oh man, I am doing so badly. I think this track especially, I mean, there's so many tracks that are good examples, but really just exemplifies how beautiful this game looks. Like I said, this is still, in my opinion, one of, if not the best looking Switch game. A lot of people say Luigi's Mansion 3, and from what I've seen, that game also looks visually amazing, but like, this game, man, I know it's one of the oldest Switch games, but it looks so good. And it also looks really good even on the Wii U. You know, it looks great back on that as well. Let's not discredit that. So, yeah, it's hard to argue. Presentation, music, of course, is phenomenal. And just that feeling of handling, that reward of doing the extra boost, which, to be fair, Transform does have if you drift longer. I don't think they have the same level as the purple drift you get in this game, but correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that wasn't even in the... that was bad. I don't believe that was in the Wii U original. The Mario Kart 8. No! I heard that blue shell. Where'd it go? No. Cross it. Cross it. Cross it. Cross it. I'm trying to remember, because it's actually been quite a while since I've played All-Stars Racing Transformed. I don't know if there's a blue shell equivalent in that game. Let me know in the comments below. There might not be. All right, that's enough for this, but overall, I mean, before we even get into Racing Transformed, I gotta say the presentation is just immaculate in this game, in Mario Kart 8. It's so good, the music's great, the feeling of, those are the three big things, I think, that I'm just gonna say outright that this game has over All-Stars Racing Transformed. The presentation, which includes visuals and music, like that Nintendo charm, right? The handling feels phenomenal. It just feels so refined in this game. And then the third thing would be like the unlockables, the customization with the car parts. It's huge. Like that, it incentivizes you to keep playing more. So that is that. We are gonna I'm gonna hopefully quickly switch over to All-Stars Racing Transformed here. Give me 1 second to flip out the capture card. All right, sorry about that little part there. Listen, getting the Steam Deck dock to work with Elgato has been a pain in my rear before, and I forgot about the issues I had. And so here we are with Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which I'm currently running through my Steam Deck because I bought it on Steam a while ago. Never had the little, you know, the physical version, but here we go. This is the intro to the game. This game has an intro like this. Mario Kart kind of has it, but it's like, you got to sit on the title screen for a little while. So this is really cool. And I'm sure it's something you can tell by just like what's going on here. The whole gimmick of this game is that your kart transforms depending on the terrain. So you could be a regular kart, a boat in the water, or you could be flying through the sky. And what also makes this a little different, and you know, Mario Kart kind of started to do this a little bit with some of the like DLC in the base game, and like when they add Inklings here, are the fact that this game is really a crossover game. This is really a SEGA crossover game. It's not just dedicated to only Sonic, which Team Sonic Racing later would do. But this one was more of a celebratory occasion of a bunch of SEGA IP. So, you know, I did say Mario Kart 8 was better in terms of presentation. I love this intro. Having this intro is great.
Sonic and All-Stars Racing
which I kind of wish... you know, Mario Kart 8 had something similar in your face like that. It doesn't really, just brings you to the main menu there. Oh, that just got really quiet. Let's I think last time, man, I haven't played this game I think since I streamed it, what, almost 2 years ago? Yeah, okay. Is there a master volume? There's not. Let's crank that thing to 100.
Keep going.
That's a noisy crowd. All right, we gotta put this on part the other one. So apologies for oh damn. I can edit this out. Do I edit this out? We'll see. But anyways, so this is just being a PC game. This has that many options, so we're not gonna include that. But in terms of the presentation of this game, it's definitely interesting. Where, right, you've got the opening cutscene, of course, but you also have this announcer. Almost like Smash in a way. It's kind of similar to Smash Brothers, where you have the announcer. And he's kind of there the whole time. So, of course, we have matchmaking for some online-related stuff. We're not going to do too much in this. So you can see there is an arena here for the game. Apologies if the audio is cutting out right now because the Steam Deck just does that occasionally for whatever reason. So it does have a battle mode, which, to be honest, I haven't tried yet, so we're not going to compare battle modes here. This is cool. All right, so the fact that there's a mixture of the two, I don't even think you can do that in Mario Kart 8, so there's that option. And, like, the UI isn't as nice as Mario Kart. That's the one thing I will say. You can just tell right off the bat. Custom games you can do with friends, local versus online, which is cool. But yeah, we're just going to jump into career and do a couple races, pretty much like we did for... you know, for Mario Kart Deluxe. However, one thing I do want to say, we're going to jump to this really quick. This is probably, besides the transforming gimmick and the crossover roster, the most unique thing about Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed compared to Mario Kart 8. It's pretty much a story mode. It's not quite a story mode. It's like, think of like the mission mode from Mario Kart DS, right? Where you have these different missions that you have to do. So here, we just have these different, they're essentially organized by different cups. You can see here, I'm not going to go through these, but you have different challenges here. So, like for example, this one is just race. This one also is just race. But there are different ones here. You have to get a certain amount of stars in order to progress. There's a drift challenge here for Shibuya from that's downtown drift from that one. And there's even like branching paths and stuff. And you unlock characters. This is how you unlock your characters in the game. It's not just through doing different Grand Prix and stuff like that. Like you pretty much, it's pretty much similar. But the best equivalent is Mario Kart DS's mission mode. You go through here, you get a certain amount of stars depending on which difficulty you do. And there's so many different types of challenges, and you slowly unlock your way. And that's how you unlock the characters in the game. So it's cool to have, and you have Danica Patrick. This game is obviously automatically better. You have a bunch of these, so it's a pretty substantial kind of mission mode you have here. You know, it can be fun to go through if you're into that kind of thing. But let's just do a couple single races. So, of course, we got to do Samba Studios. One of my favorites, and like my favorite. We'll do hard. And like one of my favorite songs. So, one thing I gotta say, right off the bat. Now, if you're not a fan of some of these SEGA IPs, you know, maybe you won't recognize some of these characters as much. Totally understandable. I still feel like this roster is overall, personally, better than Mario Kart 8's, especially that base roster. After the booster course pass, it gets a little interesting, but I mean, you have a whole plethora of different SEGA characters, including the best SEGA character, Danica Patrick, right? Of course, Sonic is in here, but you've also got Beat from Jet Set Radio. You've got Gum from Jet Set Radio. You got BD Joe from Crazy Taxi. You've got I and Mimi from Monkey Ball. Ooh La La Space Channel 5. Freaking Wreck-It Ralph is in here, because why not? He's a video game character. Sonic was in that movie. Amigo from Samba de Amigo. You got deep cuts like Vice from Skies of Arcadia and Gilius Thunderhead from Golden Axe, you know? You've got the freaking, the ages, oh, I love this, where the car is the Daytona USA car, the boat is the Dreamcast controller, and the airplane version, I believe, is, it might be a reference to, I think, you know what, I think it's the jet from, is it Afterburner, maybe? You've got Knights and Riala, who for some reason are actual cars, and it's terrifying, but it's funny. Got Yogg's cast here, like, why not? Granted, Yogg's cast was DLC. You have the Team Fortress characters just because I'm playing on the PC version. We're going to go with a random character and see what happens. But one thing this game also has, this little bonus chance thing that gives you some little extra chances here. But we're about to get into it. Why don't I play as Football Manager?
2, 1, go!
So right off the bat, I mean, I gotta say, it visually, it's not as great looking as Mario Kart. Mario Kart presentation visuals has this game beat. In terms of the drifting, it is relatively similar to Mario Kart. It just, I feel like it feels a little better. in this game for sure. The items are also interesting. I mean, they're pretty much like the items you get in Mario Kart. You know, we've got snowballs here, which are essentially like triple shells, like triple green shells. Firework, kind of a similar thing to the just like the single green shell. I do not believe that's a homing shot. There are some items that are homing shots, but the firework's not. Of course, you've got your tokens, which are essentially like coins. Like, it's a kart racer, you know. Mario Kart established it, so of course there's going to be a lot of similarities to Mario Kart. Like, that's just kind of a given, but... what I will say is the gameplay feels more thrilling because of the level of vibration. Like, I have the vibration up right now. The HD Rumble in Mario Kart does nothing like this game. This game is intense. I mean, it's Sega versus Nintendo. You know, Sega's always been that intense company, right? The items the items are classic in Mario Kart. This one's interesting. This one almost acts like the horn in Mario Kart. It gives you a speed boost, and then you have to blow it up at the last second, otherwise it damages you. But when you blow it up, you can damage your opponents that way. This game still does not look bad by any means. I want to clarify that. The bees are annoying. I hate the bees in this game. There's really not an equivalent in Mario Kart. As you're hearing now, one thing that makes this game unique, and each racer unique, which I love, are the all-star moves. So what happens is each character has their own all-star move, which is essentially like, you know, getting the invincibility star in Mario Kart 8. It's almost, in a way, not quite like it, but in terms of how unique it is for each character, it's similar to the special attacks that you had with characters in Double Dash, but each character here has its own unique all-star move. It plays a unique piece of music, which, I mean, as a fan of Sega music, is awesome, of course. The drone is pretty much the red shell in this game. But yeah, like, the all-star moves make each character really feel unique. The stages are very unique. As you can see, like, the terrain is changing. Kind of like, you know, Mario Kart 7 introduced. I'm doing terrible with stunts here. It's been a while, like I said. I'll do better in the next race. I'll do one more race after this. But, like, I think overall, like, the tracks are really good in Mario Kart 8 for sure. Do not get me wrong. I think this game has much more unique tracks. Like, even just the terrain transformation alone. Because, like, in Mario Kart, like, sure, you glide for a bit in the air. Like, you can kind of choose some ways you go. Like, cool. That's cool. You go underwater. Like, cool. You know, you're slowed down a little bit. You're underwater. Other than that, there's not a huge difference. But in this game, like, things change completely. The tracks, some of the tracks change as you go. Kind of like the Mario Kart Tour tracks in the booster course past due, but obviously this game did it 7 years prior. We're gonna do, oh, get the cursor out of there. We're gonna do, ignore the cursor. We're gonna do one more race here. On another one of my favorite tracks in the game, and my favorite remix in this game being the Burning Rangers one.
Character select.
You know, no, I gotta represent. I gotta represent. So, like I mentioned earlier, you see you have the different statistics, kind of similar to Mario Kart had: speed, acceleration, handling. We're all Mario Kart, but this game has Boost and All-Star. Now, I think the All-Star stat really depends on the different power, like the different ability that each character has. Like I said, each character has a unique All-Star move, which is really cool. And with that, I think that gives this game, personally, in my opinion, the edge over Mario Kart in terms of character, roster, and abilities. However, you see these different mods here. I rarely use these. Like, the car customization in Mario Kart 8 is so much better than these mods in this game, I will say. Getting this little boost, this is kind of fun. It's all just luck, but... And I didn't win anything, of course. So, yeah. Yeah. So far, we're already kind of going over it. The characters here, I think, are better. And honestly, I think the courses are generally more interesting. You know, while I think the presentation in Mario Kart 8 is better, I think this game has the more interesting courses. There's a lot of course variety in Mario Kart for sure, and obviously it has way more courses, but like, the changing terrain in these different courses really makes them feel unique. And we'll see, this is actually one where the laps will change over time. Just the feeling of intensity here too. I love this. Like, Mario Kart is charming while this game is just intense. Like, this game can get very challenging for sure. This is definitely the more difficult racing game of the two. So if you're looking for more of a challenging racing game, might be a good one to pick up. All right, I gotta be careful not to hit my own blowfish. The items are definitely weird though. The items are so much better in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, they're just very random. They're not even themed after any, you know, any SEGA IPs. They're just kind of there. It's very strange. Get out of here, Vice. But yeah, you can already see, like, this completely changed from lap 1. We're now in our boat forms, racing over some water here, so completely different than before. The trick system is it's fairly similar to Mario Kart. It's a little different. You can do... Oh, Knuckles got it. I love on from Emmy. In terms of what you actually do, it's slightly different than Mario Kart. Instead of just hitting the trick button when you go off a jump, it's like you can kind of choose what direction you go in. Pretty similar to like how like a game like Sonic Generations will handle it, like that trick system, if you know what I'm talking about. It's honestly, they kind of took that and implemented it for this game, which is pretty solid. All right, fifth. All right, I gotta catch up. Come on, final lap here. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I find myself. I mean, I'll be fair. Like, I love Sega's franchises. I have a soft spot for them. Of course, Sonic, but also Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Monkey Ball now, and now Samade Amigo, because I've played more of them. So, like, I personally get more joy from this game. Like, I'm gonna be outright. Like, Mario Kart is the better game, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. Like, objectively, it's probably the better game. But I enjoy playing this game more. It's like, you know, the IPs are classic. Ooh, what a snipe into third place. You know, this game feels a little more unpolished for sure compared to something like Mario Kart, which is super refined. I think that's the best way to describe Mario Kart, is refined. The presentation, the handling, all of that. This game though, the style, that's what I'm gonna go for. The style here, there's so much just style oozing from this game. And like, I love the character variety, Sega bringing back, I mean, as a crossover game, it's almost not fair to fully compare. But just, you know, like, the character variety here is great. The stage, the changing terrain in this game is super, super cool. It makes this game stand out from a lot of other kart racers, honestly. And so as a result, I think the courses are kind of better. I prefer the characters and the courses in this game, you know? But like, of course, Mario Kart has more now in terms of both characters and courses, so that part can be hard to compare, but I kind of prefer the style that these characters and courses have. And just that feeling of intensity, you know, which also I think can add a lot to a kart racing game, so that's cool to have here. But Mario Kart, like I said, definitely presentation, control is a lot more refined, so it really depends on what you're looking for. Overall, to not make this video super duper long, my thoughts, this game, I like this game slightly more than Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 is slightly too sterile for me compared to a game like this, and I just really enjoy the characters and the stages more in this game. Mario Kart is much more refined. So if you want a refined karting experience, of course, Mario Kart, you can't go wrong with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's the pinnacle of kart racers. This game is something a little more, I don't want to say creative. It's a little more, it's different. It's unique. If you want something maybe more intense, and if you're a fan of Sega IPs, of course, this is the game for you. The transforming mechanic really sets it apart. So, and I think it does that better than the gliding and underwater parts that Mario Kart does, which really don't do a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. This one changes entirely. So with that, those are my thoughts on, you know, Mario Kart versus Sonic and All-Stars Racing. Neither game is bad. You know, it can be hard to argue which one's better. I would still lean towards Mario Kart being objectively better. It also has more content as of now. Not really a fair comparison considering this game is almost 10 years old. Actually, might be over 10 years old. Let me know in the comments below. Definitely clarify that. But this one is more near and dear to my heart personally. With that though, Thank you so much for watching. If you did, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've played both of these, which one do you personally prefer? Or, you know, if you haven't played, I mean, a lot of people play Mario Kart, but you know, even if you haven't played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, let me know what you thought about it based on this video. And same thing with this game. I'm sure a lot of you haven't played Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Let me know if this made you interested in the game at all. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all on the next video or live stream. Keep going fast. Never let your foot off that gas pedal, because if you do, you're not going to get your boating license. So, sorry about it. Take care.